Hi, I'm Lucas Barbu, and I will be discussing the famous Pablo Picasso. Picasso was born in 1881 in Spain and died in 1973 in France, and he mastered just about every medium and ranged from painting to ceramics and just about everything in between. Picasso had a distinct ability to not only combine mediums, as seen in his still life collage from 1912, but also he took part in numerous periods of art, such as the Blue Period, Analytical Cubism, and Synthetic Cubism. It would be unfair to say that Picasso's only contribution to art was helping create Cubism, but that is definitely one of the main things he's most known for, as he took part in the creation of Cubism around 1907. Picasso not only impacted artists during his time, but his work had a huge lasting impact on the artists who followed him, and his influence can clearly be seen in modern artists today. He was fortunate to grow up with a father who was also a successful artist, and he was and this allowed him to have a very good foundation for his art career. And he was enrolled into a school of fine arts when he was just 14, and was then enrolled into a prestigious academy called the Royal Academy when he was 18. And his love for art began at a very young age, and he personally claimed that he could create drawings comparable to Raphael when he was 12. Whether or not this is true cannot be verified, but he clearly had one of a kind talent if he was accepted into these art academies when he was so young. Picasso did not only create Cubist artworks, as he had a wide variety of abilities, but his creation of Cubism with the help of George Brake is what he is recognized for most. Picasso was able to create work in all mediums, and some of his most famous works were Guernica, Le Demoiselles de Avignon, and The Weeping Woman. While some artists have one very famous artwork, he has many that are equally famous. Um, some artists were content with not having much money and did not live that well off, but Picasso was extremely wealthy and sold his pieces for very high prices. And today, Guernica is worth up to 200 million dollars. The first artwork is Guernica, which was created in 1937 and is arguably the most famous piece that he has. Using contextual theory, you can see that the painting symbolizes the brutality and cold reality of the Spanish Civil War happening. We can also see his opinion on the political situation in his country and how he views the war, which is almost like an unnecessary monster that is happening in his country. And this painting also informs us of the social or political situation in Spain. The second artwork is Le Demoiselles de Avignon, which was created in 1907. And using formal theory, we can first see that this was a Cubist painting and the characters are 2D. And at the time, many of the paintings were 3D, so this was a change. And the bodies of the females are extremely distorted and dramatized, and they also have ugly masks on them. And the masks resemble African art. Um, and he studied African art in Paris for many years and implemented it into his paintings. And this was one of the main ones that he implemented it into. And the contrast between the bold and light colors also help put the painting together and allow us to see the figures very defined. And lastly, the still life at the bottom of the painting is off balance, which only furthers the painting's chaotic setting and disorder. The third artwork is called Three Musicians and was created in 1921. The painting can be evaluated through expressive theory, in which we see that there are three people in the painting, Picasso being one of them, and the other two being his old friends from the past. And we can infer that this was created to pour out his nostalgia from the past and his sadness, as he obviously misses that time. And these friends in the piece were also dead when he painted it, so we can assume that he very much missed them and was just expressing his emotions through this piece of art. And the fourth artwork is The Weeping Woman, which was made in 1937. It was another oil painting that related to the Spanish Civil War, similarly to Guernica. They were both painted actually less than a year apart from each other, and they definitely are both related to the war and have some kind of relation to each other. Using contextual theory, we can tell that the painting is discussing a political event going on, which is the war. And the woman crying represents society and society's reaction to the war. It also shows how the war is affecting the public, which is obviously negatively. And this also, like Guernica, gives his political view or stance on the war and shows that he is against wars, especially ones within his home country where his own people are being killed. With my thesis stating that his work had a lasting effect, it is seen in many artists that came after him, such as David Hockney, Ben Nicholson, and Jackson Pollock. These artists have all openly said that they took certain aspects from Picasso, like his infusion of Cubism, to make their own art better. And artists now use Cubism for different reasons, such as showing time or displaying movement in their art. Picasso also created an created art in an unorthodox, never seen before style that was almost riding on the edge. He alluded to sensitive political issues, social issues, and his own opinions. And some have said that his works were offensive, like the ones of the naked woman, but it allowed other artists to see this as a way to express themselves. Nowadays, it's normal for an artist to paint or draw about a political issue, in large part due to Picasso. And in conclusion, it can be pointed out that Picasso's art had a lasting effect and helped shape many artists that followed him. His talent was evident from a very young age, and he really just had to capitalize on his huge opportunities to grow as an artist. He not only did that, but he was also able to introduce a whole new way of painting, which was the movement of Cubism, and this is still seen in modern art today. We cannot just refer to Picasso as a painter, as his generational talent could form masterpieces from the use of just about any medium. And despite the fact that he died many years ago, his influence and style will forever be seen in his or in art today. And these are my works cited. Thank you for listening.